Hi, I'm Neat.
I'm Rocks.
And this is the
A
Bourbon
bourbon
Barrel.
pause because of the last one. And you had to pause and be like, I said beat, right? Like, that was me.
I wanted to make sure that you knew what I was doing.
I that was good. I like it.
So
You're overly funny today, which helps me because I've had a stressed out week,
I feel
so
like you're just overly tired.
and that too. And he's making me laugh more than usual, so it's awesome.
Because I'm slightly inebriated.
With your clothes on, so I usually,
Hey,
you
usually when my
know,
clothes come off, people laugh.
no,
It's true.
that's the joke I usually make. Literally tell people at work if somebody's crying, like tell her that they go to look like naked. Makes most girls laugh. You know what I mean? Just to try to get people feeling better and putting myself down.
It's like a self-deprecating Zohan bush.
Oh my god.
Anyway, this hour's already off the rails.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what's happening right now.
So we're doing a Breckenridge trifecta today. And
Hump day triple play.
yeah,
Just like saying hump day.
it's fun. It's
We've talked about this for a while. We've seen it for a while. A lot of this offering is on the regular shelves of one of our favorite stores,
Yep.
but the one with the biggest inventory, so as not to put down another store or something. Just doesn't the one with the biggest inventory always has some of this. So we're
Yep.
like, well, there's a lot of unique characteristics to this because just we'll get into it. It's unique. It's not a lot of things we've done, and we've been doing a lot of blenders and a lot of stuff lately.
There's been a lot of blenders because
Sourcing.
I feel like anymore there's more blenders than there are distillate things just because
Distilleries because of the
there's so
amount of money
many.
it's
Yeah,
it's tough.
it costs so much to start out the distilling
Right.
because you got to buy all the grain or you got to
That's true.
basically do all you have to either grow or buy the grain
Right.
and then
Wait.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. Whereas if you just take someone else's juice and do things to it,
Right.
it's the way to go. Anyway, so we have three different expressions of Breckenridge. The first is their baseline offering. It's 83 proof, 86 proof. Thanks.
It's 86.
Yeah, there you go. 86 proof.
Right.
It's got a cool little decal on the back there. Take a look there.
These are
There.
cool little
And
short and stubby ones.
yeah,
It's just
these are not like
classic wine bottle.
right. It's
things.
not a wine bottle. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit fatter. And then we have their PX Sherry finished here, which is a
Joe had
90 proofs.
Yeah.
And then lastly, but most certainly not least, we have the straight bourbon whiskey at 105 proof. This is their high proof blend. So we're gonna take these by proof and see what we think. Because I've never had a Breckenridge product, so
nor have I. Never once.
we're gonna learn today.
Yeah. I don't know that I've had. Have you ever even heard of another one in Colorado or in that? I mean, we've heard of Smoke Wagon, which is Vegas. I apologize. I just know it's over there in the West Coast.
So no, but I also know that like they charge for water like they do a utility here.
Oh, no kidding.
Like your NICEAG bill, like your New York State Electric and Gas, for those of you who may not know.
Right, right.
So your electric, your gas, those are utilities here. But in like Colorado, water is a utility. Like they have certain limits on like what you can do if you're hooked up to any type of city water, which most people are.
Okay,
So
right on, right on.
I have to imagine getting enough water to make enough product up there
Right,
is prohibitively expensive
right.
unless you have some type of deal with the local government.
Sure, sure.
So I don't know what Breckenridge does, but they're up there, and I have to assume they're one of the very few.
Right, okay. Well, yeah. I don't know of another one. I'm not even, that's why I asked. Uh-oh. Um, the thing I told him, which was cool, was I watch a lot of videos. It's just I've said it before. I'm very visual, and I like anyway. The first thing I saw was an interview. And it was like a 2-minute interview, and it was with the founder of Breckenridge, Brian Nolt, and his master distiller Jordan Villa. Trying to make sure I'm saying it right. And it says it was founded in 2007 originally, and they still do some sourcing, but it's like for blending. Like for instance, the ones at the high proof blend.
Gotcha.
So, um, try to get into that without me just constantly running off all at once and not shutting up for 10, 12 minutes straight. And
That's what the people came here to see.
it's not even, no, they didn't. It's not even true. So, but anyway, yeah, they were quoted as the highest percentage of rye of any United States bourbon.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. But then there is a mash bill I wrote down that says 38% rye, 56% corn, 38 rye, and 6 unmalted barley.
As opposed to the malted barley, which you'll find in lots of different products.
Right. So there's a lot of they source some from Indiana and Kentucky, which Indiana we now know is Ross and Squibb, not MGP anymore.
Or MPG for those of us with dyslexia.
So the nose is
It's
easy
not-
and soft.
It's not very for an 80 proof. There's not a lot of burn in the nose, but it's
No.
also not the most pleasant nose I've had even today.
Well, in our defense, the thing we did before today is two of our favorites. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, two really good bottles.
Those are
one of our
100 proof.
favorites.
And I still feel like I'm smelling more ethanol on this than I am those 100.
I'm not getting much of a nose at all. It's like I'm not catching much.
Do you have COVID?
Really, I hope. I've been chasing it, but I've not caught it. So. Yeah, I don't really light. It's light.
Like even the color there is like,
Yeah,
excuse my fingerprints, but yeah, that's it's a lighter color.
yeah, for sure.
Does they say this is a straight bourbon whiskey?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't say straight, which means it's longer than 2 years.
If it doesn't say straight and it says bourbon, I think it has to be 4.
Okay, so this is at least a
Wait.
4-year product. Straight is 2.
Straight, yeah, you can't. You have to have at least 2 years to use the word straight.
Yes.
But
So
if you don't use straight,
I think I just actually saw this on the whiskey dictionary. It was like
Nice.
it can be called bourbon as soon as it hits the thing, like that 1 second.
oh right, yeah, I remember
So if it's not a straight, it could be less than 2 years.
this. Right. Well, it could be a minute, like that Cleveland thing
right.
that tries to do the fast aging. Like,
Yep.
all it has to do is touch the barrel.
Yes, and then it's
So-
technically bourbon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and there's
As
no
long as the
age-
mash bill's
but
correct too, though.
they do have to have an age statement if it's under 2 years.
There's got to be a what did I just say?
The mash bill has to be correct.
Yes,
So
there
there's
you go.
no age statement on here, which would lead me to believe that this is older than this is probably one of those 4-year plus.
Okay. Well, I don't see anything about.
But
that.
as you said, they're blenders, so I'm assuming they probably bought a 4-year plus juice.
This says youngest is 4 years old,
Okay.
and oldest is 10 plus years old.
Well, there you have it. So I guess
That
we
was
were
on
right.
something with interviews with the people that the guy, the literal founder, has a lot of little episodes where somebody came up to interview him up there, in
Yeah.
the mountains and stuff, and it was like a local news channel or it was
Mhm.
something like that, and there's like these 5-minute, 6-minute, 8-minute, but it's always him talking. And yeah, at some point, the youngest is 4, the oldest is 10 plus. So, and it's also known as the world's highest distillery at 9,600 feet.
It's the Mile High Bourbon Club.
And a lot of them say he's triggering me on purpose because he knows that I'll have something to say about that, no matter how inappropriate and or funny, because that's a toss-up. Sometimes a lot of shit I say isn't funny.
And some of it's downright hilarious.
If it's the highest rye, but yet and I get it that it's 86, not even like 80 or 81, yet it was so light in color. Like the
Mhm.
color was so light, and it's still such a
I'm getting the spice of the rye when I take it. Like when I drink it, it's still dancing on the back of my mouth, and the back of my tongue.
But is it hot?
It's not
Or is it
hot
just the
because
spice?
It's just the spice
It's the
because at
spice
80
that's-
proof, I don't think it's that hot.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not. It's not bad.
No, it's not.
And that's very interesting. I'm betting that these guys will release a rye relatively soon.
If they already have it, it's just not here,
Right.
or something. They do a special bottling for the Denver Broncos every year. They have a Denver Broncos bottle,
Oh, that's cool.
which I would like to get one for my son. I'm not sure if I'll be able to because they put out only so many at the right time. If I don't catch it right and I don't order it, it's
So-
probably like $200.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a big Broncos fan.
Up in Buffalo, the speakeasy place I went to, Hartman's,
Right.
they have in a barrel to be opened when the Bills win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing this. But
Dude, that's gonna be like a 20-year-old bourbon.
when did he first pour it in there? Because
I think
it's
it was-
just going to be a barrel.
I think it was
eventually.
just 2017.
So
I don't. It might have been when Josh Allen came on.
you should Google
Yeah.
how long it'll take for that barrel that size
Sure.
to completely disappear and see if will still be alive to see that. Because that's a long time.
I don't know. They have shots. I mean, the
Oh,
team
I'm not.
is they
They
got the
could be.
playoffs.
Sorry.
It could be next year.
I saw on ESPN last week because it glared into my head that they had them as the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
The absolute favorite. Not, I mean, by like plus
Mhm.
250 versus plus 300 or something.
Right.
Like, not, but the absolute favorite. They were number one. They weren't tied with anybody.
Go Bills.
Go Commanders.
I don't-
That's my team, right?
no one knows who that is.
I know. Go
That's-
Washington
That's the
football team.
Washington.
Football team
I would
Commander
call,
skins.
maybe in like England you could call them a football team because they're not playing American football.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I don't know. It's like, what are you gonna do? Or would you change if they change the Bills' names?
No, they
Of
won't.
course not. Yeah, but you rooted for them your whole life. It's just part of you. It's ingrained in you. You know. I've always liked the Cleveland Indians quite a bit. Now they're the Cleveland Guardians. Like, it doesn't change the fact that I've had good experiences in Cleveland, going to that park, watching the team play, and
Yeah.
whatever. And I loved Major League in 1989 with Charlie Sheen. All right.
He was the pitcher, right?
Yeah, wild thing.
And they had who else was there? Corbin.
Corbin Burnson.
Yep.
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 He bought the team in the second episode, second sequel, the sequel. Anyway. So anyway, this one, I mean, 86.
For an 80 proof, it's not horrible.
I don't really remember.
86 proof.
I've had these on hand for a couple months because we've just been debating when and how to do them, and I just haven't opened them. This was the cheapest one, like 35, maybe 45 and 45 or something like that. None of these get. I don't think the highest one was
Exceptionally
too much,
pricey, yeah.
50, 60 at most. Maybe.
The one that we don't have pictured here that I almost
Rum?
bought yesterday is the rum cask one,
Mhm.
and that one was around the 65.
Yeah, so
So that's the higher price, which
It's-
makes sense because those rum casks are hard to get now, I guess.
yeah,
especially in
from what we're being
Colorado.
told. Yeah. So
Landlocked, boy.
So now we're going to the PX Sherry Cask. Did
Yeah.
you pour?
I did.
Okay. I have not poured thus
should.
far. Apparently. All right then. So, Chris, how do you not get the neck drip? Like, you have more bartending experience. Like, I always get, because I try, obviously when we do this, I try to pour a little bit,
So
but I'm trying not to get the neck spill. The neck spill.
the secret is much like Pepsi told you. You have to pour hard.
But then I'm going to have more bourbon in there, and I'm
Not
going to.
you.
Would it splash? Like, how before it's like.
I'll show you next time I pour this. I'll show you next. We'll do an experiment. I'll probably pick it up.
Like,
It'll
you
be
know.
like all over. But we'll try. So we're hitting today.
I also think, now, some things I might not just know the name, but do you ever think of anything that gets finished in anything else at all that has a person's name attached to the apparatus, like the barrel? This is
Like the
Pedro
Pedro
Jimenez.
Jimenez.
There's no like Tom Jones barrels or something like
There's
that.
no
I
need
don't know
for
where the
that.
hell Tom Jones came. That was like an old crooner from like 20s or 30s, I think. Tom Jones? I don't know. So
Yeah,
am I thinking of the right?
sure.
All right. I'm had some drink.
I'm assuming that's because sherry is such like a labor-intensive process,
Okay.
and the Pedro Jimenez, I don't think it's so much a person as it is like a company that does like a sherry. Like,
Well, arbitrarily, like, is there any other name of anybody that's like, you know what I mean? That's out there as their cast
the
finish.
Dolph Lundgren cask of vodka
Right.
from Russia.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I've seen sherry that just say sherry cast finished, and then there's Pedro Jimenez sherry cast finished.
And I think
or
that's
does he
just
do
because-
something different? Does that
I feel like that's
company-
just because that company's sherry casks are more sought after than other companies. Like,
Okay, but is it a gimmick then? Is it
Maybe.
the same or is it a gimmick?
I don't know.
That's an interesting
That
question.
is a question.
That's a very deep dive too.
Yeah.
Bill, the Whiskey Dictionary, get back to us on that one, would you? And you know what? That's a shout out to you because you do this stuff and you know this stuff and you're great at it. So I'm not saying, hey, do our work for us. I'm saying, hey man, if you're watching and you want to let us know, it's
But
right
low-
in your head because you're
low
like,
key.
oh, I hung out with Pedro Jimenez last week. He's the coolest guy I've ever met in my life. Like, and it wouldn't shock me. So, because he's awesome. Like, I don't know, he's
Yeah,
cool and
cool guy.
cool guy. We're gonna try his bottle soon. Just came to my house.
True.
Anyway,
All right. So,
Breckenridge, Mile
yes,
High,
sherry cask, mile high bourbon barrel.
90 proof. All right.
That is so much smoother than the base offering. There's not anywhere near as much of a bite.
I'm there's way more flavor for me. My first thought was, wow, the flavors
Yeah,
jumps out at me.
there's definitely more flavor. It does
Look at
look.
the color.
I mean, if you look at the color difference between these two, like this one's clearly a darker, like look at that compared to like this. Some of it might be the label, but not all of it.
Does any of this say how long it's in the sherry? Breckenridge, Colorado.
This is batch 7 for those of you who are wondering.
Yeah. High rye bourbon mash aged for a minimum of 3 years in charred and new American oak barrels finished in PX sherry. No time limit up.
So, but it has to be at
600
least it has to be at least a year because he said the minimum age was 4, and if it's 3 years in a barrel, new American oak barrel, that means it has to spend at least 1 year in the PX sherry cask.
Why is that?
Because you said in his interviews the minimum is 4 years.
Oh, the youngest is 4 years. Yeah.
So that would make that at least a year in a PX sherry cask.
I got you.
Math is power, friend.
Right on. Well, it says a minimum of 3 years, so some of them
could be longer.
Yeah,
that's fair.
some
Like
of the
they're not
PX sherry-
emptying every barrel.
Right. Jeez, man! Holy crap! You were like took me like
96
6
toothpicks,
different.
man.
Woo! Rain Man lives again. They should do Rain Man too. They're both still alive.
For now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Dude, you know how much of a mind blow it was when I realized that Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman, was Hook? The makeup on him, I had no idea that was the same guy.
Okay. All right. Man.
Yeah.
I know it went up $10 or $15,
but it's worth the 10 or 15 bucks.
4 points. Yeah, that's good. Do we have anything else? The only one that jumps out to me immediately, and I don't know that I've tasted it. I can't remember, and I know you have. Is the Derringer?
The Derringer
is sherry cask finish.
It's a PX sherry.
Because I get, you know what, I don't say this a ton, but I always get the port and sherry confused.
Yeah.
It's like one of them's port that's Isaac Bowman, but the Angel's Envy is either port or sherry. No, I think it's port.
Yeah, it's port.
I can't, And some of these companies, not this one, but the most recent episode of It's Bourbon Night, or one of the most recent ones, they went through all the Basil Haydens. Some of them, they actually say that they add some of that fluid to it. Like this one actually has sherry added to it. This one actually has.
So you can do that shit in Canada.
Right.
Like Canadian whiskey, you can just add whatever the hell you want.
You can not even tell it what it is.
Yeah.
Like the 9% doesn't even have to be explained.
Right.
Like, just tell us what 91% of it is.
This is whiskey, but it's also got 9% of skunk pee.
Yeah. You can put anything in there you want, and they don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Cyanide.
9% horse mounty urine. Like what?
Horse mounty urine. Sorry.
It's fine.
That's the best name for the episode.
Horse mounty urine. We'll call it the Dudley Do-Right expression.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway. So yeah. You look at voices, man. You should do the Christopher Walken thing more frequently.
Oh wow!
See, you should. It's not even a joke. Like he's so good at it, and he does this. But you do make people want it. So if we ever get to that point, they'll be like, "Where's the one where he does Walken?" Okay. I still remember the one where the dude in Big Bang Theory, Simon, whatever his real name is, that played, does all his voices because he's being the dungeon master of that episode of Dungeons and Dragons. But I literally go to that episode because it's so goddamn funny because he does the voices so well.
Sorry.
I know you're good.
I did get neck pour.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I didn't, you know what? You were doing it kind of on the slide because I didn't even remember you were pouring. So
I'm very sneaky.
And you know what else? This is a thicker bottle.
It is.
So it has a weird like.
It's a thick girl. Yeah.
But see, you get drip.
You get the drip.
What's the drip, man?
A post-nasal drip.
That's right. Bill, Whiskey Dictionary. You need to figure out what's wrong with the drip. Do we have an infection? What's up?
Normally you put like a little like pourer in there that does like the one shot.
Oh, the snap on the yeah.
So that's how you get rid of those.
Fair enough.
For bartenders anyway.
Right. Sideboard. Next to you know what?
You should add some more.
I know.
I don't know why you're not drinking.
But it's so good.
Sit by the fire, please. Let us discuss.
You know what's one of my? This is terrible, and it's not terrible, but it's blasphemy. what's one of my favorite things about Christopher Walken was the rundown, which was of The Rock, and when
Hmm.
The Rock still had hair,
Yeah.
and Sean William Scott, and he was the bad guy,
Yes.
and the movie's kind of shit. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
it's
you're
not
like that's
great.
the greatest
It's
movie.
not like I'm gonna watch it forever.
It's a guilty pleasure
Yeah.
goofball movie, sort of.
Cult
It's
classic.
so Three Amigos, like it's in that similar vein, not as funny, but I mean like you know what I mean. Anyway, that's still to this day. It's like don't rock the boat or whatever, and I'm not trying to do the voice when The Rock is literally catching whips from side to side. You know what I mean?
Whoa! Don't rock the boat.
Yes, yeah, that's it's so perfect. It's yeah, it's so perfect. So yeah,
Oh,
Christopher Walken. Anyway,
I do enjoy a good Christopher Walkening.
so we go from 90 to 105, and
So
this is not this is high proof blend. I don't think we can look at it real quick, but I don't think the
It's
other
not a
two
cask strength or anything. It's just a high proof blend.
yeah. Whiskey with snow melt from the Rocky Mountains. A blend of bourbon whiskeys aged for a minimum of 2 years in new charred oak barrels. Which this is again, if neither one of these say blend, I think
They have to be
that's
from the
distiller.
same distiller, same year, right?
If it doesn't say blend, probably yeah, I think so. I'd have to look up the year part, but
Whereas
I
the
the
blend could be
distillery.
different.
And they, like I said, they source from Indiana and Kentucky. They use, okay, here you go, green rye. Green rye is still young and not dried out, harvested earlier.
Interesting.
Okay.
So one of the things that we learned from the Jesse interview, which you should hopefully be able to view now, is that ryes don't need to be nearly aged as long as like a bourbon.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
said
That was
because
yeah.
like you can get a really good rye at a much younger age, so you
Right.
don't need to have like the 10 year. You can do it after like 2 or 3, and you have a really good rye.
I wonder if there's a direct
Which I'm guessing is probably why you're seeing more ryes on the market, is
that
because it's
he
able to be found and done.
uses a direct correlation between the two. I wonder if he has like, well, if this is from this company and their best bourbon is aged at 8 years, then their best rye would be aged at X years. You know what I mean? I
With
wonder if
more
he has
math.
a specific ratio.
Sure.
Oh yeah. I'm I'm not going all Sheldon and Rain Man. I'm
I
just
get
being
pizzas.
I'm just being Leonard or whatever. Like actually I'm being more Penny to be honest with you. Let's be clear. I'm closer to Penny than Leonard, that's for sure. As far as intelligence levels on that kind of stuff.
Nonsense, chickens.
And just I can write things down doesn't make me smart.
Oh wow!
Non-chill filtered, but I feel like we should hunt some chill filtered. Like when I say non-chill filtered, I feel like it's
Isn't
something
that
that
just
people
like
just know.
there's not a lot of bourbons that do chill filter, are there?
That's what I mean. That's
Like,
that's
there's-
literally the question.
that's
Bill, the
whiskey.
whiskey dictionary.
Stop asking for things.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Some of the shit we gotta do on our own, man.
Fine, I'll go to your channel and look it up, Bill. All right, because you probably already told me and I forgot. Because you explain a lot. You're just explainer.
He's
the best.
Very good, very good.
Anyway. So anyway, yeah, we're just shooting the breeze, but this is the blend, so this has probably got something from Indiana and Kentucky. I haven't heard no rumors about where in Kentucky. If it's Indiana, it's
I'm
probably MGP / Rotten Square.
So at the 105 proof, there's a little bit of nose burn, but
Little bit.
it's not like ethanol burn. It's more of like a just like that's like if you breathe deep in there. Like
I'm wondering if what I was hoping to get from this episode before we ever did it was if we could even have a comment on, and the problem with this is we probably have to exclude this one,
Mhm.
on whether or not there's any way we even discern any difference at all, nose, palate, anything, because this is from some place that's so highly elevated. Highly elevated?
Mhm.
Right? Okay, thank you. Highly elevated.
Words are good.
And you know all those things, the green rye, and I remembered some of this. The highest rye bourbon in the United States, 20 barrel small batches is what they blend.
Okay.
Okay, water has a very high mineral content because
Of where it is from the Rockies and whatnot.
right. 53 gallon standard size barrels, char free level.
So that's all
pretty
normal.
spicy.
Like
Okay.
a lot of bourbon places use the 53 gallons, and the char number 3 is basically like an industry standard from what I've understood.
Right, and the green rye thing I just said.
That's different.
Yeah.
But so taste it. Have you tasted it?
The high proof?
Yeah.
No, not yet. No, I was just trying to.
So I know that we kind
Did
of.
you taste this
yeah,
one?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I don't want to give you anything.
Oh no,
give
yeah, I
anything
just
away.
wondered if you did.
I know that we taste a lot of higher proofs. Like we said in a previous episode, how like we've had very few and far between tasted 80 proof things.
Mhm.
And I think the reason for that a lot of the time is that when we try these higher proof things, there's not as much water, and so there's more flavor coming through. And this is no exception to that. Like if I was to say between this isn't a bad 80 proof
86. But I mean, 80s.
in the 80s.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what
That's
I
what I
thought.
was getting at.
I was
Come
making
on,
sure.
please.
I was making
Let
sure
me
in
let me
case.
make my point. But yeah, no. So at 105 proof, this doesn't have nearly as much water. Like you can tell again by the color here versus the color here. Like there's a substantial difference in the water content. Like the proof here, I think does it well. Like, and again, if you check out the interviews we've done with Jesse,
86
like,
is a blend.
okay, so that's also a blend. So it could be this literally could be this juice that's been watered down to make more bottles. We don't know.
This is still, and it probably will never end, being the stuff that fascinates me about this journey we are on and experiencing. Like, there's so much to so many things.
Right.
Like, I just don't. Once you use this word, once you don't use that word, once this percentage, once that's like.
Because these are both blended, but the difference is the proof.
And then if you talk to Jesse, your mind explodes. Okay, we do episodes between us, and then he comes in and he's like, "Oh, in fact, because he can just blow your mind all the time."
The flavor in here is
That's complimentary, right? I didn't say rude.
You basically said that he explodes your mind with knowledge.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you for clarifying my idiocy.
Not, he's just going to like try and I'm gonna explode your mind.
I'm so sad.
Fraser Crane of Bourbon. Bringing it back.
Fraser Crane always drank sherry.
Of course he did.
Niles was like a sherry, and they were always in little
Yes.
glasses. What is sherry? Is it? It's not.
It's like a sweet wine, like a very very sweet kind of like.
But it's not
so
brandy.
There's like ports that are very like sugary wines, and then there's like a sherry that's like a. It's like a spirit that has like a wine flavor. I don't know. Look it up.
Okay. Yeah.
It's also sweet though. Sherry is a sweet thing. There's like sherry, port, and cognac are all very sweet.
Port's a wine, right?
Port is the wine that is it's like added sugars to the moon. Really.
Wow.
Like I had a port and it was like drinking diabetes.
You said something about brandy when I asked you. You were like, "Yeah, it gives you the diabetes."
Oh yeah, brandy, absolutely. It's like drinking Wilford Brimley.
It's wow. Cocoon. So
diabetes.
I think almost everybody. The only people alive from the Cocoon movies are like Steve Guttenberg and Courtney Cox, who were the second one. Well, Courtney Cox was in the second one because the rest of them are all dead. Maybe the kid is dead or alive. The kid that they had like a grandson or whatever. I don't. He didn't. He's probably in rehab or something.
I know, man.
He's a kid of an actor that like, I was gonna be a big deal. I'm not.
So I can't. The idea behind this episode isn't to pick a favorite. It's just to try.
No, it's our triple play, just kind of giving you an idea.
I enjoyed my experience as we went through it. Like this is a great 80. This isn't bad, and the price point isn't horrible.
No, 30, 35 or something.
So if like you're starting into bourbons and you want something that's like an 80 proof that'll get you, into bourbons, this isn't bad.
Now, if we were to do a battle someday, again, with this and Long Branch, which we discussed, and we've never had Long Branch. I've never even tasted it. Have you tasted it?
No.
Okay. We've never done it on screen, which is what we figured out before, but I didn't know if you'd ever had it. But my first thought would be, when we going into that, would be that I'll probably pick Long Branch because it's wild cherry.
Sure.
And this is good. It's okay. It's not bad.
This
all
is
that
really
stuff.
a good product.
But I wouldn't. My guess would be, well, I'm going to go wild turkey probably. You know what I mean? So, and that could very well be wrong. Like a lot of people don't like Long Branch. A lot of people don't like it. And that's another thing. Should you watch other shows? You should, because you want to support them and you want to learn. But on the same token,
you don't want them to like jade your opinion.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. See, there's intelligence in there. It just takes some pulling out from Christopher Walken sometimes. Anyway, sorry. But I tried to make a point.
It's a good point. It's a good point. So honestly, each one of these expressions is good in their own right. They have different qualities that make them good. Like for an 80, this is great.
I'll try this again.
And this one,
sounds like
this one's got a little bit of a sweeter tone. It's a little bit of a higher
body because of that
there's a much fuller body. Yes.
Yeah. When we get that,
like the mouthfeel on this one is dramatically different than this one. I feel
Jesse liked when I said oral sensation.
Oral sensation.
She did too. Yeah.
Yes, to it. So this one, absolutely, for what it is, a PX Sherry cask. This is great. They've done good work. This is not
Would
something that you're gonna find on a bargain.
would you have any comments about that? Because you had the Derringer, and that's Sherry, PX Sherry, I think too. If I'm not mistaken.
So when I went to Hartman's and I had the PX Sherry, I thought it was honestly better than the Pappy I had.
Right, I remember this. Yes, yeah, that part I
And then
remember.
I
Yes.
got this like fingernail edition or thumbnail edition,
Right,
or
that's
thumbprint
the one
thumbprint
that
edition,
you're not a
and
fan
I
of,
did not enjoy that.
and that's the only one you have now.
That's the only one I have now. I
Okay.
gotta get a new one.
Okay.
That's not that thumbprint thing. Because
Right.
the Derringer that I had that wasn't the thumbprint edition was great. It was exquisite. It was by far and away my favorite thing that I've tasted.
Ever. And
Ever.
you put it, yeah, you put
Like I
it
put it
above
next to
Fours
Pappy,
that
Pappy
yep.
15, and
There's something else too, Eagle Rare, double
Eagle Rare 17,
Rare 17, sorry.
and that was awful.
Oh, God.
Awful.
I love Eagle Rare regular 10 year.
The 10-year Eagle Rare, great. The 17 is just way too done.
Okay.
It's not good.
And that, yeah, so, yeah. We're gonna have to pull out the, I mean, I almost think it's an unfair fight, but it's also not that, like, the first battle we just discussed where we had a battle and explained it to people, perhaps, was, like, something where we said, like, it's not like there's a loser, there's a second place.
Yeah.
Because they're both good. Like,
Yes.
this one would be like a wild card in a tournament, because you're like, that's not garbage. That's not something we tried because we
The
never
bracket
had it.
buster, as it
Yeah,
were.
yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a 16 seed. But anyway.
No, but then, so, I mean, for a PX
It's weird you haven't bought another Derringer, like,
I
off the
have
shelf,
to.
because when you love something, you usually have it.
Right.
More so than
That's
I
true.
do, I
That's
think.
true. I know that we've been trying to expand our horizons and get into newer things, like the barrels and things that are also
True
like the
story.
$7 price point.
It's
So
a true story. It's a true story. Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
Oh, you haven't stopped buying.
Oh,
Like,
no.
you can't even walk over there.
There's a lot. There's a lot of things I'd show you, but I'd have to kill you.
That's scary even coming out of your mouth because it's him. Like, Christopher Walken, you just don't.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
and Wedding Crashers. He'll always be the Secretary of the Treasury.
The dad.
So, yeah.
We play football.
That's right. It's a Maryland thing. Or whatever.
You wouldn't understand. And then,
God.
lastly, this 105 proof. It's fantastic. It's 100 proof plus thing. High rise, as
Right.
you said.
We'll
But
drink some more of this. Too.
yeah, no, it's good.
Now I'm trying to use this
I
one
mean,
back to this one and
yeah.
eliminating this one. Because I want to know.
I'll take some of that.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna drip.
There's that drip.
Here, you wanted to have it for.
I
See,
didn't.
it's
I got a couple things here.
Wait, do people. You're saying, like, in restaurants, right? And I'm trying to think about it.
There's always those things in the top. Yeah.
So why don't we just get some of those? They're plastic. We should probably be able to buy a gross of those on
Oh, yeah.
Amazon for like
Right,
$2.
you can buy 24 of them for a couple bucks. Yeah, sure.
We should buy some of those and we can
Then we
save
have
bourbon that I'm not
that drip.
marinating in. Yeah, that.
That got a little pricey. Wow. That was. He got in there.
It's true.
I watched his whole hands in his mouth.
Well,
It's like after the whole mouth. That's what just happened over there. If you were watching, like he was just like, "I'm gonna start with one finger and go with two, and then I'm gonna do."
look, if anybody ever says we waste whiskey, you show them that clip real quick.
Yeah,
Did you like
like,
one of that?
No, sir.
And
Not
no.
today will you say such slights. So one of my friends watched.
Sorry.
I don't know where the rails are, but they're long gone.
We broke. the
One
rails.
of my friends literally said to me, like, you can tell, like, as you guys progress through your episodes, like we record two episodes every time at least when we get together, and they're like, it's like watching drunk history. Essentially, you can tell that they're getting shit faced. Like you can find the moment where they just got fucking sloppy. And I believe we just found that moment ourselves.
Broke a new barrier. Yeah, I broke the fourth wall of some sort. But yeah,
Like we get
Oh,
man, that was there is a sink. You can wash your hand.
I'm not. I'm just not a germaphobe kind of person. Oh, I'm not.
That's like right there, like between that and like the monkeys, that's how COVID started.
So I'm working the other night. There's three young girls
Yeah.
trying to talk to a cook who just started yesterday, first shift, and he's a cute guy apparently. Whatever.
Apparently.
Like, he's a good-looking dude. Like you can tell people are good-looking. It has nothing to do with your sexuality. And he's a cool dude too. I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm John." Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And they're all talking to him, and they try to make little jokes, and they're like, "Have you met him?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "What's up, man?" And I walked around and I said, "They see those three girls? We call those the Monkey Pox Girls."
Oh no.
And I walked away, and that was it. I haven't spoken to him since. So I'm hoping he took the hint. But anyway, the ironic part is a couple of them are actually really cool, and I don't know I don't know any of their lives because they're all young and shit. I don't listen to any of that nonsense, but
Right.
it was freaking hilarious.
It is
Like,
funny. You're the reason
like-
the bubonic plague started.
That's
too.
true.
That's funny.
I'm surprised that people aren't canceling the Black Plague and trying to change it, and
The bubonic plague.
so
Yeah.
nobody's as black anymore.
I don't know.
Because is that offensive to somebody from
Probably.
that's dead? Like
Long ago.
nobody's still, yeah.
Dude, man, things that happen in history are still relevant today, apparently. I don't know.
Uh,
Neither here nor there.
Wrong road to go.
Yeah, we're gonna avoid that at all costs. Shit.
Unmalted barley, like it was a big switch for you,
Yeah.
but I sort of
So that's like legit. Like, what does it mean to be malted? Like, is it just like aged or like what is the
and green is not dried out, harvested earlier.
So they've got two
And
different
there's
things
there.
going for them. Like they're harvesting their rye early
But still, you got that water too, and that elevation, right, and the mineral content. Now,
because it's snow from the Rockies.
Isn't the stuff you buy now? If you buy water, you buy this or that water. There's no minerals in it. You have to buy this water
Depends.
like to make ice cubes, so it's not cloudy ice cubes. Because this what comes out of my tap has got some iron in it or something, so it's cloudy.
So if you want to make not cloudy ice cubes,
right,
use hot water.
every time.
If you use hot water, your ice cube will be clear. I don't know how that works, but it does.
From tap water.
Yeah, tap water,
Okay.
hot water.
Alright.
Try it. See what happens.
Alright.
Science for you, kids.
I will. I literally because I got that little rubber one with
Mhm.
6
Yep.
holes because I like a big one in my
Put
rocks class.
like some real hot water in there and see what happens.
I will.
And if it's a clear cube, you're
Right.
welcome.
Right.
So
I should wash it first, right?
yes,
Clearly. Yeah.
Well,
alright.
but
Just
I
making
mean,
sure.
it's water, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Just
Well.
make sure it's hot water.
Right.
And
Right.
then
right.
put it immediately in the freezer, and it should be clear.
Oh, right.
Fun
I
facts.
will, absolutely. So yeah, green rye, harvested earlier, unmalted barley, elevation, water, minerals. If there's minerals in this water, but does that mean do other big, ginormous distilleries like
Well,
Uppbeat
in
and stuff
Kentucky,
do
they're-
filter?
In
Here.
Kentucky, they say that it's the limestone that makes it so good. As the Whiskey Dictionary said, they import a lot of their water from Kentucky.
Yeah, I do remember that too. Now that you said that, that's
Yep. Yeah, they'll get water from wherever they can. Yeah. So I don't think it's the water.
okay. I just again with
And
the
in Colorado, I'm going to assume that they're importing water.
with the idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
I just can't even fathom, and then you add this to it, and it's just. Well, like, literally, we're doing this right after we filmed the last Jesse thing, which was the mind fuck, and he said it on that episode, so whatever. But you know what I mean? It's, oh god. But yet again, all it makes me do when I kind of like a refresh and like recharge myself and whatnot a little bit because I'm a little tired, is it makes me want to do more. So like one of these days when I wake up and I'm full of energy, I'll be watching everything I can watch and looking up everything I can look up to try to find something else and be like, well, what other, do we want to put this up against Derringer or do we want to do this with a triple play and get another one that's a PX sherry cask finish and
Right.
where can I get it and how much is it and who makes it and why do they do it and where do they do it and who did it and why it is still the same master blender.
To be fair, he is our idea man.
Yeah. Well,
He comes up with the ideas for the episodes. It's great.
he's the guy who shoots down the ones that probably would get us in trouble. So, and that's one of his many talents because he needs to do that for me.
But no, it's real good. It's honestly like for something out of Colorado that like no one else is that we know of is up in Colorado.
Right.
It's
By the way, no insults to them. If there are some craft distilleries,
if there's like
we just
smaller
have-
batch things that
we're in
we
New
just,
York.
Yeah, we don't get it.
Yes.
I apologize
Right,
immensely,
right.
but I actually
I
have
know.
a buddy up in Colorado. I'll ask him if they have anything up there. And get back to you. But this
Oh,
is
nice.
this is really good. I know it's sourced too, right? So they're not they're still sourcing their juice.
So they're sourcing some in the blends,
Okay.
right? And they're both. This says blend and this says blend. And this one's finished, right?
Finished in.
Right, but is there the word
But-
blend on this at all?
I would assume if it's
High rye, what finished in doesn't mean blends.
That's
They're not
true.
actually adding juice. They're just in the barrel of, right? High rye bourbon mash aged for a minimum of 3 years in a charred new oak, finished in PX sherry casks.
right.
I'm just looking for the word blend.
Right.
Perkins of
And
whiskey.
again, when something's blended and stuff,
This one doesn't say bourbon.
it's whiskey. Interesting, but it was put in French New, or was it French, or was it just American New?
I
It's
don't see
American
what I
New.
mean. You see what I'm
So
saying,
hold on,
guys?
hold on,
You
hold
people
on.
out there.
New American oak barrel. So that could technically be called a bourbon because it hit the barrel. So that's the question. Like you have this, which is finished in a PX sherry case, and then you have like things like the M. Williams honey
Bourbon whiskey.
and things like that. Like when you start adding
Bourbon
things
whiskey.
to it, it becomes a whiskey, not a bourbon. So where's that cutoff? Like, is it like the fact that they added something liquid?
But from what I heard, and I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, is if it marks checks the boxes to be a bourbon,
You can call
you can always put bourbon. But if you do anything else after it becomes a bourbon and checks those boxes, you have to put it on the label, as in this.
like PX sherry cask.
Right. So I don't know why they couldn't have put
So,
bourbon
like-
on this label.
I don't know.
That
So for example, like Nulu has a experimental cask that is finished in honey casks, which is
Oh shit!
it's like
It's maple too. It's a
$130 bottle of Nulu, and I want it so bad. You have no idea.
You get loud. You don't ever
Yeah,
get loud.
I
so they got
want that bottle.
that's
Like
true.
I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen.
You get it this week. Like,
It's gonna happen.
he's gonna talk to me later and be like, "I got that bottle."
I bought the bottle.
He won't even say anything.
Wow.
He'll just send me the picture of the bottle in his hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he
That's
doesn't
fair.
even say anything.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen.
It's
Maybe in 2 weeks when I get paid again. But no. So
these two are good, and you know what? This is good, and we're not big finishing people. If you eliminate the Jesse things where we
Okay.
learned
yeah,
and where we tasted, well, the second one we tasted a zillion things. So, but if you really kind of eliminate those and put those in their own category of what we learned and prior to what we had drank before that,
sure.
this last one was literally a week before now. You know what I mean? So it's very timing. We don't have a lot of since then. We haven't been like we've always.
It's always like
sort of.
the things that we really enjoy are more like the double oaks or like the
Mhm.
toasted barrel stuff.
We weren't crazy about the Bowman thing. We weren't
No.
crazy about Angel's Envy when we first tried it.
Sure. And like the
there's a
finished
couple
stuff.
others still.
Yeah. And
And this one's pretty good.
but that's yeah, no, it's pleasantly surprised, delightful. All three of these are really good.
This is another thing that I've said before too, though. For instance, suppose we did another '90s blind, and this is a '90s. Suppose we put it in there. The other two '90s are going to look like this.
Yes.
So if you put
You're
3
gonna-
Glen Karens, it's not blind
No.
because you can see it.
Exhibit A allowed me to do a thing because
He's going to do a thing. I don't know what thing he's going to do, but stay tuned. What are we drinking?
I can't tell the difference between that and that.
What if you poured that in a glass? So you're saying the density of it or the color of the label?
I'm thinking the color of the label is lacks.
Oh, snap crack, bitches. Not sure what that meant either, but here, let's pour it harder.
Or hard.
Just gonna have to lick the glass again.
So I'd be very hard pressed. I mean, yeah, it's slightly darker, but honestly,
So you're thinking maybe we could
I don't know that you'd be able to
wouldn't
tell
just immediately
just by
be
looking
like,
at it, unless you're gonna put it up to light like that.
And then see, then you get like, yeah, hold on. This
Yeah,
is weird.
This is fun. It's a good time. Like I
Nah,
defy,
you
like,
can tell.
barely though. Like
Barely,
when
but a
it's
little bit.
like look
Like-
at that. I mean, that's hard to
I
tell.
think it's harder when you shine the light on it.
Well, and again, you had to get down so you can see the light through it.
True. Yeah. Well,
So
yeah,
like from here, you're not gonna know.
yeah. No, if we don't bend down. So you're saying when we do blinds, we shouldn't bend down.
You should not bend over for blinds. No. I'm looking for bend over.
Oh my god. This is, you know what though? This didn't turn me off of anything from
No,
them. I
no,
would taste the rum.
I would absolutely go for the rum next.
I swear to God, there's. Oh, they have a. Oh, I know. They have one that's like a high end thing. That's $400. It's listed as Dark Arts Malt Mash.
Dark Arts. I have to have it
Yeah, well, there you go.
just because D&D stuff.
Dark Arts
Yeah.
Malt Mash. $370 is where I saw it
I'm gonna
last.
start saving my money.
So
Where can we find that? Is it on a website? Like,
I don't know.
Let us know where we can find these Dark Arts.
It's the same thing you did to me earlier. Google that shit. You Googled it. You did. Just Google those words.
Go
It'll pop
find,
right
go
up.
find a thing.
They go 300, 400, 600 on these websites.
Right. Yeah. So,
It's one of their very limited things, apparently. The Blue River I circled, I guess that's the river that runs through their
sure.
water.
Which, if they're sourcing their stuff, doesn't really matter. Like,
Right, yeah. I don't
but
know.
Breckenridge, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had things. You guys were started in
What is
2007,
this, the 86?
2007, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's the 86?
yeah, it's the 86. Yeah, this is the PX.
What is this one?
That's
We moved them all around.
Yeah, we
All right.
we
It's all
played a little bit of the
three-card Monty.
Yes,
Three-card bourbon.
Thank you for that. Okay.
I've watched them too and told you before, like, I can tell the one episodes we did first versus
Yeah,
the second
yep.
or third. So
And that's not the first. You're not the first person to say that. Like,
tonight we're gonna drink, woo, and that's just where it
today
starts.
we're gonna start drinking. Yeah.
Which I said to you yesterday, we could do a third episode
And-
tomorrow, and you were like, I don't
I
know
gotta
that.
be, I gotta move couches.
Yeah, I don't feel like breaking my own legs for some reason. Dropping shit.
Yeah. But no, Breckenridge, you're doing a great job. Keep
I
up
like
the good work.
86,
I mean, anything, the 86 proof, the 90 proof, the 105 proof, they're all fantastic.
I'm a fan, yeah.
Yeah. And we would love to try the Jamaican rum cask one.
Sure. We'll get one at some point.
Yeah.
We'll just throw it in there. There's a lot of other rum cast finish out there too,
That's
so
true.
we can
That's
throw
true.
that into a battle, and we can use bottles from more than one thing. So
And
And we have
when
numerous
Doc
times.
Swinson comes out with their funky drummer, we'll put that up against their
sure,
rum cask and see what
Absolutely.
happens.
that'd be awesome.
So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be fun
It's a
to watch.
question that I never thought to ask him that just kicked in now, and if I say it, maybe you'll remember next time we talk to him. Has he ever considered using 375s instead of 750s or 1 liters or
You did
anything
ask him
else? The size of the bottle, did I? Okay.
Oh no, not the bottle.
That's what I mean. Like
The barrel size.
No, I'm talking about the bottle.
Oh.
You ever considered that?
I don't know. I feel
Or
like
is
the
that
bottle
not
size doesn't
cost-effective?
really matter to
No.
them. Like,
It probably does, and that's probably like that's but
like
again,
the bottle size
10
isn't gonna affect the quality of what he does.
Oh no, not the quality. Just like maybe getting more distribution or something.
Maybe, but I mean, like a 400 bottle thing, you're gonna double that to 800. It's not really gonna get you anywhere.
Unless 800 people loved it and not 400 people, and then they want to demand more of it, and then there's 800 people that are demanding that.
I'm sure there's
Instead
more
of
than
400.
800 people that are demanding Doc Swinson.
Well, I mean, like that planned batch or whatever. One of the coolest parts is that he always names them those weird things with the Trace Amigos and the Funky Drummer.
Yeah,
Like
it's very
that's
cool, very cool stuff.
that's awesome stuff.
But anyway,
We're just shooting the
yeah,
breeze.
sorry about
You're
this.
just watching us live.
Yeah, this
right
is
now.
literally, we've gone too far.
It's a great t-shirt.
I'm Neat.
I'm Ron.
And this has been The Bourbon Barrel.